Hello, welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Becca, and today we're going to be talking about my top 10 video games. So, if you've watched my channel before, you'll know that occasionally I like to slip in something that isn't bookish, like I've done my vinyl collection and things like that. So today we're going to be discussing my favourite video games. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I am a massive nerd. Some could say I'm a massive nerd because I read a lot, but I also play lots of card strategy games. I've been into video games from a very young age. So today we're going to delve a little deeper into my nerdiness and discuss video games. So I've narrowed it down to my top 10 just because this is a top 10 video, but I might follow this up with my nostalgic video games later because there are quite a few that I do really enjoy, but there's just too many and not enough video time. First up, I'd like to start with an honourable mention, which is The Witcher, and this is honourable because I haven't finished it yet, but it's a huge game, it's an RPG, I really like it so far, and I really want to read the books that this is based on, like so bad. So just a little preface for the first few, the ones that are coming in at the bottom slots are not great masterpieces, they are just games that I've invested a lot of time in, and not necessarily because they're good, but just because they are highly addictive. I would also like to say that some of the ones I'm going to talk about, I'm talking about as franchises, not as individual games, but I will tell you when I get to them. So let's just get started. Coming in at number 10, we have Grand Theft Auto, specifically Grand Theft Auto 5. I wouldn't say this is a good game. I wouldn't go around saying this is the best game I've ever played, but when online started, I was highly addicted to the point where I would go on the Rockstar website and I would download those crazy races that people make where like you do bike races in the sky, and I really enjoyed doing those, and also changing the outfit and the hairstyle of my character. That was really important to me. But yeah, I did play a lot of this. When I was at uni, my flatmate bought a TV for the living room and I had one in my room, and my other flatmate, my best friend, had one in his room, and we brought them all into the living room and we each individually had a console which we also brought into the living room, and would all play GTA online linked together in the same room. That's how addicted we were. Which leads nicely into number 9, which is Call of Duty. Now this is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, but the one that I'm actually going to talk about is Black Ops 2, which we also all played in the same room at uni, and we used to play zombies. Sometimes team deathmatch and things like that, but mainly it was zombies. The reason I can't show you Black Ops 2 is because at that time, while we were doing that, I got up off the sofa to go into the kitchen and I tripped over the power wire to the Xbox, knocked it over and laser burned my disc. So I don't have that one anymore. But we were addicted to zombies. We bought all the DLC so we could play all the maps, and we were like sort of hardcore playing to complete them and get all the Easter eggs, which I think we only managed to do on 1 or 2 maps. Black Ops 2 was a really memorable game for me. And I do still play COD occasionally, but I haven't renewed my Live in ages because I don't use it that often. And I didn't buy Black Ops 3, but it is still something that I enjoy playing. Again, not necessarily a fantastic game, but super addictive, and I put a lot of hours in. Next up, we have The Sims at number 7, and this is one of the ones that I'm talking about as a franchise, not a specific game, because this is The Sims 4 on Xbox One, which I received recently for Christmas. And the one that I liked specifically in the franchise was The Sims 2, and I have very early memories of buying that and the expansions, and we shared a PC because it was a long time ago, and me and my mum would alternate, so like I would play for an hour, then she would play for an hour, and I would get up at like 6 in the morning, like 2 hours early for school, so I could play The Sims for 2 hours before I had to leave. I really like The Sims to the point where I now have it on console, and I don't even want to think about how many hours of my life I have put into Sims games. It's not even worth thinking about, and I'm not even going to try. So the real number 7 is Dragon Age. This one is Inquisition, which I did really enjoy, but I also played the first one, which I really enjoyed. The thing that I like about these is that they have a great character relationship system. So unlike things like Skyrim, where you can like marry other NPCs, but they don't have like a personality or anything like that, in this you can form romantic connections and friendships with real built-in characters. So they're main characters, they're part of your party and part of your fight for whatever it is you're fighting for in the game. You can build real emotional connections with them and then complete special missions for them. You can fall in love with some of them. The only ones I've played is Inquisition and the first one, but in the first one I got really stuck because I hadn't saved it early enough to gain myself extra sort of equipment. So I'd saved it like right before the boss battle, and I couldn't complete the boss battle because I didn't have enough healing potions and I didn't have a save to go back to. But I played most of that game apart from the final battle, and I really enjoy this as a franchise. I would like to go back and play the first one. I still have it, complete it, and then complete the expansion pack and the second one, which I may do at some point. I would highly recommend if you like RPGs. At number 6 we have The Last of Us, which I've only played in the last year because me and my boyfriend went halves on a PlayStation 4 for Valentine's Day last year. And this is sort of a zombie apocalypse survival thing. You are Joel, who right at the beginning in the prologue, he's sort of, the apocalypse is starting and he has a daughter and she dies, and then you get into the actual body of the game and he's trying to get this girl Ellie, who may have the cure to the epidemic, to somewhere else, and because his daughter died he wants nothing to do with her, but obviously he grows closer to her as like time progresses and the mission progresses. So I really like this because of the character development and the relationship between characters. I also really like the plot and I'm really excited for the second one, although I don't know where it will go. This had sort of a really big like oh my god cliffhanger ending, and I'm excited to see what will happen in the second game with that. And I know that Joel isn't in the trailers, so I'm really concerned about where Joel is. I really want to know. This is a really good game and I would really recommend it. At number 5 we have Resident Evil, and this is as a franchise, not specific games. This one is Resident Evil 5 on Xbox 360, but essentially my story with Resident Evil is that when I was young I spent a lot of time watching my mum play games I was too scared to play. So like Resident Evil and Dino Crisis, which is the same as Resident Evil but with dinosaurs. So she played like some of the old ones. I don't think she completed them, but I enjoyed watching her play. And then strangely enough I got a Wii when it came out and I had Resident Evil 4 on that, so I played that through myself, but I was absolutely terrified and quite young. And then my best friend sort of introduced me to Resident Evil 5, which we played in co-op, and then when Resident Evil 6 came out we got that and I played that in co-op with my flatmate. I really like it. This is about a zombie apocalypse again, and you are sort of secret agents who are fighting against the zombie apocalypse and a big corporation called Umbrella that sort of researched the epidemic and manufactured it to create zombies. Number 4 is a game that only came out last year, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn. This is another one that's exclusive on PlayStation. It is like Tomb Raider but with metal dinosaurs. So you have Aloy, your main character, who is here, my most recent addition to my Funko collection. She is in a open world where there are a lot of tribes called the Nora, and she has been exiled from the tribe. The tribe is a matriarchy and sort of focuses on women, and she doesn't have a mother. So she was sort of exiled, and it comes up to this initiation day where she can win a chance to join the tribe again, and shit hits the fan and it goes from there. But essentially it's like a medieval world with metal dinosaurs, and if I say to you it's like the Queen of the Tearling books in that you have flashbacks, flash forwards, that kind of thing, you may have a little clue about what it's about. But I just really enjoyed this. I thought the graphics were absolutely stunning. The storyline was the best I'd seen since a game I will mention very soon. I absolutely loved the characters and I really enjoyed the actual playing of the game. Number 3 is The Elder Scrolls. This is another one that is as a franchise and not just specific games, although the only one I have played from start to finish is Skyrim. I have also dabbled in The Elder Scrolls Online, which I did really enjoy, but I haven't had live in a while, so I haven't continued. And also when I played Oblivion, I was sort of too young, didn't really know what I was doing and kind of gave up on it, but that is another game that I really want to try again to play. And essentially this was just a big open RPG, and that's what I like about it. You make your own character, you craft your armor, you do all sorts of stuff like that, and that is what I really enjoy in games, when you have that sort of freedom to progress your own character, armor your own character, create your own weapons. And in some ways you do have like the opportunity to create your own path in the game, which I also really enjoyed. So at number 2 we have my absolute favourite game, but not my absolute favourite franchise, if that makes sense. So my favourite game in the whole entire world is Final Fantasy X. So much so that I have it on PlayStation, and I also have the remastered version, which I haven't played yet. My story with this is when I was young, my mum played Final Fantasy IX on PlayStation 1 and I watched her play it, as I did with most games, and then I got Final Fantasy X, and that was the first game that I'd ever completed, and I sobbed through the entire ending. But the Final Fantasy franchise as a whole, because I got into it at number 10, 11 was online and it was a massive failure. 12, they changed the combat system and I didn't like it. 13, they changed it again, didn't like it, and it has 3 parts. 14 was online and I haven't played, and 15 I have, but I haven't played yet. So, while this is my favourite game, I haven't got into the rest of the games in the franchise as much as I'd like to. So what I am actually planning to do is when I finish The Witcher, I'm going to replay Final Fantasy X and Part 2. And then I'm going to go through and replay every other game until 15 and see how that gets me. Now, that is going to take a lot of hours of my life, so don't hold me to that, but that is what I plan to do. But this is essentially a Japanese RPG with your traditional turn-based attack system, which is what I prefer from these games, with epic storylines and really great graphics for the time that this one was out, at least anyway, and I just super loved it and I thought it was amazing. So number 1 in my list is coming in as a franchise, not a specific game, and that is the Tomb Raider franchise. So right here I have 1, 2 and 3 on PlayStation 1 and the second of the new generation of Tomb Raider. So like with most games, this was one of the ones that I was too scared to play when I was a kid, and I watched my mum play it, and I just used to go into like the house and do the obstacle courses and stuff like that. So that's why these ones are on here, like major nostalgia. And I have actually tried to play these, and because I'm used to new games where they essentially hand everything to you and tell you where everything is, these are really hard. Like, go back and try and play a PlayStation 1 game. It's not easy. And then there was the dark period of Tomb Raider where there was some really, really bad PS2 games. So sort of I regard Tomb Raider as really good on PlayStation 1, awful on PlayStation 2, and then phenomenal again with the resurgence. Now, the 2 Tomb Raider games that have come out in recent years are sort of like a prequel story. So right at the beginning of the first one, Lara is on an expedition because she wants to be an architect, and she gets shipwrecked with her friends and her crew and taken onto this island where she has to fight for her life. Now at this point she's just a normal girl. She isn't the Tomb Raider. She's just a 17-year-old or something like that girl called Lara who finds herself in terrible circumstances and has to fight her way out of them. So I really enjoyed that about the first game. Then in the second one, she's learned from that experience and she's again hunting for an artifact. So she's becoming the Tomb Raider, but she's still unexperienced and a little bit vulnerable. The gameplay in this is similar to Horizon Zero Dawn, so the same sort of style if you played either of them. And I just love Tomb Raider, and I'm so glad that these were made because they are so good. Also, there's supposed to be a Tomb Raider coming out maybe this year, so that's also really exciting. So that's everything for my top 10 video games. Please let me know if you have any favourite video games, because I'm always down to talk nerdy. Please don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to, and in the down bar below you can find my links to Instagram, Goodreads and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those platforms. But that's everything from me today. Bye! At number 5 we have number... Need a wee.